All right, everybody, and welcome back to episode number 40 of Show Choir Nation. I am your host, William Soki, alongside my co-host, Ethan, and our guest for the night, Quinn. This past weekend was the first weekend of competition season in Show Choir land across America. And to kick it off, we're going to throw it to Ethan for a bit of a week one recap.
What? All right. Starting off in the Hawkeye State, where the judge's last name's Last Chapman Kid, Ireland Fogg. Sounds like the plot of a new Stranger Things season. Show choir was done and done well. The Cedar Rapids Xavier competition had some growing up to do, as high schoolers were the new kids on the block in this new edition of NSYNC Show Choir. Marion New Edition was wined and dined, but was left on the doorstep when asked, "Do you like jazz?" Iowa City, 4th Avenue Jazz Company. GC, best vocals, best choreography.
Over also in Iowa, the Des Moines Christian Illumination was illuminated by Walkie Millennium's Great Flair show, which they took to the Grand Championship. There was some flipping around from prelims to finals because Indianola side one flipped from 3rd to 4th, which allowed Pella Acapella with New Direction to take the final spot on the podium. Norwalk Sound Revolution completed its own revolution with a new director, Brant Roskins, for this year. They were 5th, and Dallas Center Grimes Momentum and Cedar Rapids Washington Momentum. Well, one got a little more momentum than the other, with Cedar Rapids taking 2nd place, but it was Millennium flaring their way to best vocals, best choreography, and best band.
Wow. Heading to the Sioux Falls Jefferson Cavalier Classic, it was the room where it happened. But instead of Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr dueling it out, it was Presidents Roosevelt and Washington? Huh? The ambassadors did their best to try to break up this drama, but they were passed by some true American pride. Fly, Eagles, fly, soared right by. Ankeny Centennial standing on the top of Mount Rushmore and puts 2 choirs in finals. Spectrum, GC, best vocals, best choreography.
In Missouri, we had the Maryville Spoof Hound Spectacular, and this was no spoof of a competition, with experts saying there was no clear winner heading into the competition. It was the Oak Park Oak Street Singers that parked their way in first place for their first win of the 2020s decade. Other than that, the New Score Singers of Smith Cotton made finals at this competition after not making it a year ago, and Cameron Lights Cameron Action took their production, which was the first performance of the day, all the way to the small school win. Scott Catholic Vivace came up the bridesmaid once again, taking 2nd at this comp for the 2nd straight season, but it was the Oak Park Oak Street Singers with vocals and choreography on the top step of the podium.
Now at the Toma Cranberry Jamboree, where ocean spray wasn't the only thing being served, the stage was on fire. The choirs were playing up to the judges more than the Girl Scouts selling cookies at my doorstep. I'll take 5 thin minutes, please. Oh, wait. Speaking of a group of troubled singers, El Paso High Fidelity earned a top 4 finish against veteran Wisconsin groups. New London was invited to a seat on the podium, but much like a California beach body, they were bronze. El Paso going to Wisconsin on the day the Bears played the Packers in the wild card is wild business, but I salute them on their service for allowing us to have boots on the ground in enemy territory. Da Bears. However, nobody's stopping the revolution of River City. Lacrosse, GC, best vocals, best choreography.
Also in Wisconsin, the Holmen Gathering gathered groups from across Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa. The Reedsburg Choraleers sailed their way to a spot in finals, along with taking their first Best Band award in 3 seasons. Nina Vintage shot for the stars and landed in 5th place, an improvement on their placing at Holmen last year. Sauk Prairie Executive Session, while they performed songs from the musical Come From Away, didn't come from too far away, but were still vocally solid and placed 4th. Sparta Upstage Adrenaline did an Olympics-themed show. They dared to dream in their performance, and they dared to get the 2nd step on the podium, beating the Onalaska Hilltoppers for the first time in their career. But it was another out-of-state defeat for Wisconsin, just like the Packers. The Wisconsin choirs fell, this time to an Iowa group, Waukee Northwest EOS, taking home the win with best vocals and best choreography.
Good job, Tej. The Van Buren Night Music Show Choir competition was showing the same contents as a fairy tale. But Piqua shows the rest of the field there's no such thing as magic. Euclid puts on a show while sniffing the top spot, sneaking it back to the swamp with a major caption under Pickwa's nose. Seniors and Harding seniors agreed to put their differences aside while Strongsville was invited to finals after Tate's Valley got hit with the Sandman sleepy dust, forcing them to go to bed early. Pickwa, the company, GC, best vocals, best choreography. And that is our week 1 recap.
That was beautiful.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
We almost beat the ad at the end there. We were so close. I wonder what on the track. I wonder what our real time was. We're at 5:38. We're probably pretty close in the fastest 3 minutes. We're already pretty close.
That was good. That was impressive.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So look for more of some of that rapid fire, quick hitting stuff. We're going to be debuting another new segment on the show tonight, a little bit later on as well. But we're going to dive right into some more stuff. And we're going to go to the Maryville Spoof Hound Spectacular. And the first question before I read the results is, does anyone know what a spoof hound is?
No.
Is it a dog?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Does that have 4 legs?
All right. So we'll look it up. I'll help you out. Okay, I'm just going to let you know. I looked up spoof hound. First thing that came up, Maryville High School.
Whoa.
So it's definitely not a thing. If the high school mascot is the first thing that came up.
Yeah, it's the high school mascot. I don't know what it is. Look like? It's a dog, but like
a greyhound or like a
good question. You're asking the right questions. I don't have answers for you.
Okay, well then. One question that we do have answers for is, what were the results of this competition? And I'm so glad that I asked myself that, because the results of this competition are as follows. In first place with vocals and choreo, Oak Park Oak Street Singers. In second place, Scott Catholic Vivace. In third place, Smith Cotton New Score Singers. In fourth place, Pleasant Hill Hillside Singers. And in fifth place, Denison Singing Ambassadors. No finals here, so the winner of the small school division was Cameron Lights Cameron Action, alongside Smith Cotton Broadway Velocity and the Chillicothe Choraleers. Let's start at the top. I'll open this up to either one of you. I was correct in predicting the Oak Park Oak Street Singers as the winner of the competition. It's their first win since 2018. What does this mean for the program?
This is huge for the program. It's kind of funny. You and I, when looking at the sheet for the rest of our staff doing predictions, we both kind of went with 2 people, I believe, that no one else thought had a shot at the top spot. And I mean, this is a competition where I think truly nobody knew what was going to happen going into it. I feel like there's like 10 different scenarios that really could have happened. However, you did have Oak Park and I had Scott Catholic, and I love that those 2 ended up being top 2 on the podium. I mean, just great for the program is what I'm saying. Great for the program, but huge for Oak Park. Oak Park, is a choir that doesn't win a lot of competitions, especially while in their scene. So while going out and getting one of their own in front of, competition that they see regularly, it kind of puts them on notice a little bit, like, okay, Oak Park got one, it's not going to be an easy road from here. Especially early in the season, the way they did it is going to be huge moving forward.
Absolutely. Quinn, I'll toss this one to you if you want to say anything about it. Smith Cotton New Score Singers did not make finals here last year, but they did break out with a win at Rockbridge in the middle of the season last year, and now they are third. Do you think New Score is in for a better season this season than last season?
I think it's totally doable. I mean, I'm not too familiar with Smith Cotton. My main exposure to them was seeing them beating Blue Valley towards the end of last year's season. And I was like, okay, that's good. I like that. And so I think a lot of people had them winning this competition. Again, you said it earlier, it could have gone a million different ways and wouldn't really have shocked anyone. And seeing Scott Catholic ending their last season with a win and now starting up this season with a second place trophy is already huge, so I'm very excited to see them, specifically since they are Nebraska. It's pretty close to me. I'm very excited to see them compete the rest of the season.
One more thing that I just want to toss out there. Cameron Lights, Camera, and Action won the small school division. They only had one placement make its way online across 5 competitions last year, and that was a 4th place in division. So to come out there and beat 4 other groups in their division has got to be a step in the right direction. We're going to move on to the Des Moines Christian Illumination. This one, quite the interesting stack of Iowa choirs here. Walking Millennium taking home the grand championship. Full 3 caption sweep with vocals, choreo, and band. Cedar Rapids, Washington, Momentum 2nd. Pella Acapella 3rd. Indianola Side 1 4th. Norwalk Sound Revolution 5th. Dallas Center Grimes Momentum in 6th. I'll just toss this out to either of you. Walking Millennium, their show, The Great Flare, definitely caught a lot of attention on the stream. I know our staff group chat was popping off about it. Taking a full sweep here. What does this mean, and where do you think this season goes?
I mean, I was not able to catch the Des Moines Christian live stream, but I was able to see a recording of Millennium's performance, and man, I was blown away. I loved watching the show. It's a shame I won't get to see it in person, but yeah, this, especially where they're going to be competing later in the season, like Waukee Northwest is going to be a good battle, and same thing with Liberty. I think it puts them in serious contention, like to beat groups like Ankeny Centennial and maybe Linn-Mar. We'll see.
Lofty goals. Ethan, we had 3 groups, each with new head directors, finished 3rd through 5th, and that was Pella, Indianola, and Norwalk. Who is your winner out of those 3 and why?
I think, the top of the bunch. I think I'm with Pella. I'm with Pella for the reason, first time jumping up into this division like full time this season, correct? So, there's so many nerves going into it. I know they usually, I know they've had final appearances before, right? Or does Iowa's like keep them locked? I'm pretty sure they had final.
No, they found a lot of success in the past. Yes.
Yeah, and so like going with a new director and being in this new division, there's going to be a lot of uncertainty. The fact that they were able to place as high as they did against some high caliber show choir in the scene is huge for them. And I only wish them the most success going forward this season, like they normally have. Because it is going to be harder being in this division of mixed varsity ones. So
absolutely. Quinn, is there anything else, either looking at the final results or of anything else that happened? We did have Cedar Rapids, Washington solidly in 2nd that you can take away from DMC.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember last year where I believe Indianola was in 2nd, and then Cedar Rapids moved up into 2nd in finals. And this year they were comfortably in 2nd for the majority of actually the entire competition. And that, to me, that just shows a step up and an improvement in the program after missing finals at Linn-Mar last season. So I'm very excited to see how they do throughout the rest of the season.
Absolutely. I think we're going to jump to the Holmen Gathering now. The results of this one: in 1st place with best vocals and best choreography, Waukee Northwest EOS. In 2nd place, Sparta Upstage Adrenaline. In 3rd place, Onalaska Hilltoppers. In 4th place, Sauk Prairie Executive Session. 5th place, Nina Vintage. 6th place with best band, Reedsburg Choraleers. I will open the floor on this one. What is the storyline that pops out to either one of you?
Well, Sparta. What a job by Sparta. Will, drop some knowledge on me. This is year what of being a varsity mixed show choir?
This is year number 4.
Year 4 being a varsity
wow.
mixed show choir. Incredible. From where they started to where they are now, they just toppled the Wisconsin show choir. And that's never easy to do, especially early in the season. I know usually choirs, they have their bumps and bruises early in the year, and that's very common. And I didn't watch what happened on stage this weekend, so I don't know what happened with the results. However, like Onalaska is one of those choirs that's always on top of their game. We had this conversation when we previewed it, where Will, I believe you said Onalaska like wins majority of their first competitions like throughout their history. So this is huge for Sparta to be second on the podium under Waukee Northwest EOS, who's one of the strongest choirs in the nation. And of course, they compete in that really tough scene in Iowa. It's almost breathtaking. I look at it and I'm like, that can't be real. Like I keep looking at it, I'm like, that just can't be real. So congratulations, Sparta. I hope this just means that this season they're gonna put a lot of people on notice. That's what I'm hoping for.
Quinn, what is something else, or maybe something the same, that jumped out to you from these Holmen results?
The first immediate one was seeing Reedsburg in finals, and I was the only one who correctly picked that. So I love that. But also with Sparta, Sparta was a group I didn't really notice too much until last season when I was watching the Holmen stream last season. I had to miss it this time because of Jefferson. We'll get to that. But last season, like they ended up taking best choreography at this competition. I was like, yeah, I believe that. I fully believe that. And seeing them beating Onalaska here it just shows to me that their program has been improving. And I'm going to see Sparta when I'm at Bloomington Kennedy in a few weeks. So I'm super excited to see how they compete against some of the top groups in Minnesota.
Absolutely. I'll touch on a couple things since I was there. I think Sparta, yes, all of the claps. Shout out to Cami and Skylar and Michelle, their directors. Sparta came back as a group my freshman year of high school. And so I've always felt a bit of a special attachment to them. They have an Olympics show this year. It is almost reminiscent of some old-time Waconia Power Company shows. There's not even really a down moment in the show. Like even the ballad is a power ballad type. There's never really any moment where you feel like you can catch your breath because they're even driving straight through the ballad. And I really appreciate that. I think they're on track to have a great season. Reedsburg and Neenah were two groups that very pleasantly surprised me. I thought those 5 and 6 spots were really some kind of toss-ups before the competition. And after prelims, I was like, okay, both of them were just tight enough vocally and visually to be my picks for finals. And they made it there. Although Reedsburg, they're doing a boat show and they don't have a lighthouse. Like, I don't really know what we're doing here. That's sarcastic. For anyone that wants to clip this out of context, that's sarcastic. But it was refreshing to see a boat show without a lighthouse. I'll be very real with people. But Stock Prairie was a group that also really, really impressed me. And I know I'm just going through every finalist at this point, but this was the most polished I've seen Stock Prairie early season in several seasons. So they've got a big travel comp down to Biloxi at the end of the season, and their vocals were what really impressed me. And if you can sing, you can go a long way in the South. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where Stock Prairie is going this season.
For sure, yeah. I was blessed to see Sauk at El Paso last year, and I mean, you always hear of them, doing the same theme over and over and over, musicals and Broadway, and but however, you were right. Their vocals are out of this world. Whenever they're on top of it, they're on top of it, and it's hard to stop a choir like that.
I'll be straight up with people. I had no idea what the musical Come From Away was before Saturday. And maybe that's not a great thing to say on stream, but now I really want to watch it now. So just because Sauk's doing 5 or 6 songs from it. So shout out Sauk for increasing my musical theater knowledge. We're going to flip to another comp that one of the 3 of us was at, and we'll whittle that down by process of elimination soon enough. That's the Sioux Falls Jefferson Cavalier Classic. The results of this one: in first place with as vocals, best choreography, best band, Ankeny Centennial Spectrum. Second place, Aberdeen Central Eagle Express. Third place, Sioux Falls Washington Classic Connection. Fourth place, Omaha South the Ambassadors. Fifth place, Ankeny Centennial Vortex. And sixth place, Sioux Falls Roosevelt Executive Suite. Quinn, we have unconfirmed reports out of Sioux Falls Jefferson that a lighthouse show won the competition. Can you confirm or deny those reports?
I can confirm. I don't know have either of you guys seen a recording of Spectrum show yet?
I have not.
Will? Okay. So yes, it is, but it's so much more than just a lighthouse. It's a story about community in a way of people becomes like stranded at sea, and then a community of people come together to help them out. Um, and that's really impressive. And it's so much more than just, oh, it's just another lighthouse show. It's so much more than just that. And yeah, they won. They clearly won the day. Yeah, they did.
Ethan, I want to talk about Aberdeen Central Eagle Express for a moment. This is a choir that came out of the gates hot after the pandemic. I think like one season we were doing the rankings and they were just racking up the January wins left, right, and center. Winless last year, second place on the podium at their debut comp this year. Where does this lead Eagle Express?
Well, back onto the top of my rankings too. Now I feel like every single time I make a prediction, I'm going to have them top 3. Because that's just how my brain works. Because I remember last year, I was like, oh man, yeah, they had a really good year last year, and I couldn't get out of my last year's brain. And my predictions were kind of wild because they just weren't at the same level they were the year before. But it seems like they're getting back on track. Fantastic for them. I don't think, besides anyone inside their choir, thought that this was going to be like the result. I saw that they could possibly make top 3 here. Tough. It was going to be a tough battle. I love that they have a picture on their choir page already. It seems like they're doing like Wizard of Oz or a Wicked or something similar to that. Except I don't get what the scarecrow in the picture wearing a backwards hat. Is this like the most modern Wicked Wicked Wizard of Oz show? Did you watch it, Quinn?
Yeah, I was there. I definitely watched it. So it was so there's a little bit of history. So the writer of The Wizard of Oz, I forget his name, but he lived in Aberdeen, South Dakota for a little
Oh,
while. And so there is a um park in Aberdeen called Storybook Land, and it's very heavily Wizard of Oz based, and that's what their show was about. It was about this park called Storybook Land, and also the ties it has to Wizard of Oz. So that was their show thing.
oh, that's cool. That's very
Hmm.
interesting. I'm glad you said that because I just would have thought it was straight up just Wizard of Oz. Because you see so many at this point, you don't second guess yourself.
Hmm.
That's really cool background. But yeah, I mean, they had a tough competition. Um, I saw predictions as far as Ankeny Vortex in second, Omaha South in second, Sioux Falls, Washington in second. I didn't see many with Aberdeen Central, so I have to give them so much credit for getting that top 2 podium spot.
Absolutely. Talking about the Sioux Falls schools now, we did have 2 Sioux Falls schools make the finals. We had Sioux Falls Washington in third, Sioux Falls Roosevelt in sixth. I was a little wary coming into this comp because it seems like whoever the best group in Sioux Falls is rotates on a yearly basis. It's either Washington,
Hmm.
Jefferson, Roosevelt, maybe in the 2010s, O'Gorman for a year or two. And Washington
Hmm.
ended last season as the best of those groups. And so I was like, oh, are they going to keep their edge? It seems like people are always one-upping each other. Turns out, at least for this week, they did keep their edge, coming in 3 spots ahead of Roosevelt. Quinn, what did you see out of these shows? And do you think Sioux Falls groups are going to be tight again this year?
Oh yeah. I mean, this is the only time that Washington and Roosevelt are competing against each other this season. So uh if they were competing at the end of the season, I'd be also very interested to see how that went. And Washington also has to compete against Jefferson in a few weeks at the executive showcase. But today, yeah, well, at Jefferson, Washington was clearly the best of the Sioux Falls schools. I mean, Stranger Things theme show had a really fun setting, really good show design, solid, clean choreography, an impressive ballad. And there's a lot to like about their show. Roosevelt, I was blown away by Roosevelt because um it feels like the last few years they haven't been that confident of a show or confident of a program. But this year I was watching their show. I was like, they're going to make finals. They're going to do pretty well today. And they made finals at the Cav Classic for the first time since 2020, which I was watching the live stream when they were announcing results. And I
22,
could,
maybe?
22, yes, you're right. I was watching the live stream when they said that Roosevelt had made finals, and I just heard so much cheering from the audience. Because yeah, this is the first time Roosevelt's made finals at this competition since 2022, which is impressive and good for them. Roosevelt's also a program that improves as the year goes on, so it's only going to get better from here. And I'm really excited to see how their season goes.
Awesome. Well, that pretty much leaves Omaha South as the only one of the only groups that we haven't touched on in finals yet. What do you got to say about Omaha South show? I will be seeing them at Wheaton later this season. I think Ethan might be as well. So I'm very curious to hear your take on it.
Oh, I love Omaha South. I've been a fan of Omaha South since I saw them at Mitchell 2 years back. Um, then I saw them at Westwood last year, and I'm r- obviously it's early season Omaha South, so it's a great show, and there's always room to you can only go up from here. I'll actually be seeing them in a few weeks when I'm at Millard West, so I'm very interested to see if there's any big changes or hopefully like improvements to their show. But today, not today, at Jefferson, oh, it was so good. It was such a fun show to watch, and I'm very excited to see their rest of the season.
Well, great. We are going to transition to a new segment that I don't know. Where did the inspiration for this one come from, Ethan? I'm not really sure.
I'm lost in the show sheet. We're still back? Yeah. Sorry, I was lost in the show sheet. There's a lot in there.
Too many notes.
Yeah, so the inspiration is just, basically people who deserve to be spotlighted because we only have so many time in the show to do stuff like that. And We're So Back is stuff that we saw that we were like, yes, we are so back. Whether it could be something that's happened off stage, it could be a group that did something really good this week. Just something that's basically makes us excited for their future or the future of show choir.
Well, I want to start this segment out, and I want to give a special We're So Back shout out to the DeForest DeFortes. They did not make finals at Holmen, but they are another very young varsity group, part of this new blood varsity crop in Wisconsin, alongside Sparta and alongside a couple of these other groups that have stepped up as of late. And this is, I would say, one of the bigger DeForest shows I've seen in terms of number of people, but also absolutely the most put together in terms of vocals and choreography. They had one of the more active Ben Schronk sets that I've seen as of late. They had a super cool show about art, and I know a lot of choirs do Vincent, and that's cool and that's fine, but they also had like an American Gothic moment, and they had several other art moments in there as well. So I want to give a shout out to DeForest. Didn't make finals, but still one of my most memorable shows of the day.
Yeah. My We're So Back is definitely Euclid. Euclid is so back after an amazing year last year, coming back this season, second place only to Piqua. Piqua was an amazing choir in Ohio. Euclid, they are so back. I also love, we shared a meme about Euclid, I think, going into this competition, and so many of their kids reposted it because they have so much confidence in themselves. And I love to see that. Now, there's a difference between confidence and cocky, but I believe they are so confident in themselves and the choir that they have that they are going to make a huge run this year. I'm super excited to see how their season comes out. They are so back for another fantastic year of show choir.
So I do regret to let you know that one of Euclid's competitions has been canceled as of this morning.
Already.
Oh.
No.
They're afraid of the heat. The Sissonville Touch of Class Classic.
Isn't that West Virginia?
That is.
The
only two groups confirmed going were them and Polka. So
that would have been
good. That would have been good.
Belt. I think they get the GC belt.
Quinn, who do you got for being so back this weekend?
I mean, I mentioned it, so to keep this brief, but Roosevelt, there was a time, man, like 2017 to 2022, where Roosevelt was just awesome, just one of the best groups in South Dakota. It was actually during that time that Roosevelt is the only South Dakota group to have beaten Mitchell, and that happened during that time. And so seeing them at the Cav Classic, it felt so good, especially with how confident the show was this early in the season. I'm really excited to see where they go from here.
That is fantastic. Always great to have a resurgent out of some groups. We are going to go now to our first comp of the week preview for the week, and that is the Beavercreek Midwest Show Choir Classic. The lineup for this one: in large mixed, Lebanon Singers, Hamilton Prestige, Hurricane Red Hot, Loveland by Request, Pickwood the Company, Noblesville NHS Singers, and Solon Music in Motion. Small mixed, Benjamin Logan, Standing Ovation, Bishop Dwenger, Summit Sound, South Dearborn, and West Jessamine, rounding out that division. And in the women's division, Hurricane, Loveland, Noblesville, and West Jessamine. Lots to sort out here. Several good choirs: Ohio, West Virginia, Indiana, all converging on Dayton, Ohio. There are two groups that I want to start off with in particular. Number one, Solon, undefeated last season. Number two, Hurricane, 6 wins last season. Someone has to win this competition, and I guess maybe I will accept a tie as an answer, although I really don't want you to say that.
This is gonna be one of those competitions, Will, and I think we said it every single time every year of this podcast. So year 3, it's that early season comp where you get to set the tone, and one of these choirs gets to set the tone. Whoever wins this competition is gonna be, they just have that head above to start their season, and the fact that Pickwa already has a GC under their belt, and you used to be able to look back at Pickwa's previous GC and be like, oh, I mean that's a good win, but it's not against strong competition. However, knowing how good Euclid is and some of those other choirs are now, they've gone up against good competition. So this will be a tough battle for sure. Off the cuff, I feel like vocals is going to be the caption to grab at majority of competitions. Yes. However, like whoever grabs the one here, I feel like is going to be the winner. Because between Solon having an amazing singing, Loveland always blows your socks off, Noblesville, Indiana choir, so you can never sleep on them. And then you have Hurricane, who you just said had 6 wins last year. And I'm guessing that they had probably the vocal caption for majority of the 6. So all these choirs are very used to, success and stuff. So I think it's going to be super tough. It's a great battle to have early in the season as a show choir spectator. So I can kind of sort things out in my brain as well. However, these choirs are going to try to jump at each other, and just going off of looks, and I haven't seen Pickwa show, but just kind of like, Will, you said this earlier today, is predictions based off vibes. I am so that way too. Predictions off vibes always. If you have to break out a score sheet for predictions or whatever, you're doing it wrong. It's got to be straight vibe. So I'm going Solon at the 1. I feel like they're going to grab that best vocal caption, and they're going to hold on to it. I'm going Hurricane at the 2. Hurricane, my bad, at the 2. I'm going to get kind of crazy. Or it's not even crazy. I'm going to go Loveland at the 3. It's going to be, I believe this is going to be a really good bounce back year for them in terms of results. And I feel like this is the first step in their journey that gets them back on the right track. Especially after Noblesville bested them last year at this competition. So then I'm going to go Noblesville at my 4, which leaves Pickwa at my 5. Rounding it out, I'm going to go can Trouble have a chance to make it here?
Let me check.
Because if so, I mean, that's also going to be a great battle between Heatwave Alert and New Dimension.
Let's see. No one last year. Both Hurricane, Heatwave, and Loveland Allure made it to finals in 2024.
I remember that now. Thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome. I'm
going to lean towards Heatwave. I feel like they have a lot of really good numbers. Them going first in the day, I believe. Yeah, or no. They're going 3rd in the day at this competition at 9:30 a.m. I feel like they have the chance to set the tone, and they're going to grab that last final spot. So those are my finals predictions.
Quinn, I'll just have open season for you. What stands out? Do you want to make a prediction? What are you looking at?
I'll be honest, this is an area I'm not too familiar with, but so when it comes to Hurricane and when it comes to Sloan, here's what I know about them. Sloan went undefeated last season. I have not seen their show. That is all I know. Hurricane almost went undefeated. I did see their show. I loved it. Hurricane Red Hot is also just a cool name. So I'm rooting for that just off of like you're talking about like rooting off of vibes. I'm rooting off of Red Hot because that's a cool name. Like that's just a cool name. And that is all I have to say about this because it's not my area of expertise.
Wonderful. Well, that's great. We can go on vibes, we can go off names, we can go off whatever. Man, there's just a lot of winning that's gone on in this lineup recently. And I know that, winning's not everything and it's about the art. But I think there is, like, competitions like this, they really do just make my heart beat a little bit faster because I know there's so many talented groups that are going on here. Piqua coming off a win this past weekend, Solon and Hurricane and even Noblesville and Loveland, even though, those last two, not as much winning last year, still just a lot of success going on. Man, I'm going to throw this one in the hat. I'm going to say Solon takes vocals and choreo. Hurricane takes band in second. Give me Noblesville in third, Loveland fourth, Piqua fifth, and give me Loveland by request in sixth.
Cool. Okay.
I know. I was just absolutely spitballing there. So
I love that you and I are both on two sides of the spectrum with Loveland. So that just shows how much we know.
We're going to rip over to hopefully an area where we might be able to clean it up a little bit, but still might be an interesting battle for that sixth spot in finals. We have the Blue Valley Tiger Takedown. Maybe not Show Choir's original wrestling themed competition, but I would argue that it's the most high profile now. I would argue that it has eclipsed Naperville North and Bishop Hendricken as the biggest wrestling themed comp in the land. The lineup in this one, the 5A division, we have Neosho Coraliers, Broken Arrow, Tiger Rhythm, Rockbridge City Lights, Carthage Soundwave, Johnston Innovation, and Webb City Singers. In 4A, St. Thomas Aquinas Swinging Saints, Scott Catholic Vivace, and Harrisonville Music Makers. And in 3A, Mount Vernon Vocal Motion, we have probably a dozen single gender groups because Neosho is bringing two, Broken Arrow is bringing one, Rockbridge is bringing one, Carthage is bringing one, Johnston's bringing one, Webb City's bringing two, St. Thomas Aquinas is bringing one, Scott's bringing one. I don't know. Maybe we're not at quite a dozen, but one of the largest single gender divisions I've seen in a long, long time. Let's talk about Johnston versus Broken Arrow, two nationally known groups. Two groups that are very well known for their style of shows. Both two groups that are nowhere near Kansas City on a map. And regardless of how they got here, what's going to go down?
I don't know. Oh, you can go, Quinn.
Oh, okay. So, the last time these guys competed at each other was a very stacked Urbandale last year, which I was also at and was fantastic.
Blessed you.
But, Johnston won that one and Broken Arrow got sixth in finals. But that was also Johnston's domain. That was their territory. Now we're still far away from Oklahoma, but much closer to Broken Arrow's kind of territory. So, and especially from what I've heard, and I've also seen Johnston's preview show, and I was like, okay, so I feel like this is going to be a pretty close matchup between Broken Arrow and Johnston. I don't immediately know who's going to win this one, and I'm very interested to see what happens.
Yes. Very interested is a great way to describe how I'm feeling about this competition. Ethan, we have a trio of Southwest Missouri choirs. We have Neosho, Webb City, and Carthage in an early season Southwest Missouri battle for dominance, also in Kansas City. So we have Neosho and Webb City both with very successful seasons last year. Carthage maybe a bit of a step behind. Is someone going to get their get back, or will the established power remain this season?
It was yes. When you look at the headlines of competitions and stuff, the Johnson and Broken Arrow jumps out at you right away. It's like, deer in headlights. However, for some reason, my eyes went directly to Webb City and Neosho and Carthage and Rockbridge. Like, I don't know why, but I was like, oh my goodness, this is just such a great test for these choirs going up against Johnson and Broken Arrow. If one of them can somehow knock the other down a placement or so, holy crap, like the direction of that program kind of changes in mindset. Webb City has been putting on great shows for a long time. They've been very dominant in their scene. However, Neosho had a crazy year last year. New choreographer Sam Mulligan. That's going to be fun to see. I feel like that might tick them up in my book. Except first competition jitters or stuff like that. It's going to be very interesting. And then you throw Rockbridge and Carthage Senior in for probably one of those last like 2 spots, or how they can flip or whatever. In my mind, it's going to be a very interesting competition. Just off rip, I don't know. Johnson and the Broken Arrow battle, I think, is going to be legendary at the top. However, the most transformative is going to be what happens underneath. Whatever those choirs can do, whatever they can pull off, in their first competitions, I believe for all of them, it'll be transformative. So I'm gonna just rip one off just because I can. I'm kind of riding with what you said, Quinn. The area and territory. I feel like longer drives, can get to you a little bit, and when a group, a really good group doesn't have to go so far, and they pack the auditorium or gym with more fans, it can be a little more electric. So just for funsies, I'm just going to go Broken Arrow 1, Johnson 2. I'm going to go Neosho at the 3. I'm going to go Webb City at the 4. And then there's also just so many single gender, like you said, like this treble division is like, there's a lot of choirs, like you said, but they're all really good. Any one of them can jump up in the finals, but just based off of tier 1, I am then going to go Webb City, Carthage Senior, and Rockbridge. So that's kind of how I think tier 1 is going to mix or shake out.
All right. Well, I am very, very interested as well as to who will take that 6th spot. We have Rockbridge, who did experience a little bit of a resurgence last season. Their program has grown to 2 groups in advance of this season. We also have Harrisonville, who has been a very steady 4A choir for a long, long time. Kit Matthew, one of the legacy directors in Missouri by this point. Also, Webb City, Bella Voce, Broken Arrow, Tiger Mystique, Neosho, Sugar and Spice, Carthage, Sweet Sounds, Johnston, Bella Voce as well. Who boy, maybe even like put Johnston Synergy in there from the prep division. I don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are just so many different ways that this one could go. All right, I'm going to take a flyer, and I'm going to say give me Johnston Synergy at the 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then going up from there, Carthage 5, Webb City 4, Neosho 3, Broken Arrow 2 with choreo, and Johnston 1 with vocals and band.
Mm-hmm.
I like that prediction.
Yeah, I like it too.
All right.
I would also have Synergy in 6th because I was blown away when I got to see him in person last year. It was so. I also think Broken Arrow would take this over Johnston. So I'm with Ethan in terms of ranking. So pretty much actually the exact same thing Ethan said, except I would have.
Yeah.
I would actually, same exact thing. I would just have Synergy in 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just, I'm interested to see if are we right? Let's see.
Yeah. Doubling down.
Oh yeah.
We're going to do our last new segment of the night. We've thrown a lot at you guys. I think this is new segment number 3 for the night. But we are going to do a Traveler of the Week segment every week, or maybe for several weeks. I don't know, depending on how we feel like putting the show sheet together. But we do feel like it's nice to recognize those groups that are taking a step out of their comfort zone. I mean, at this point, it's January. You're not going to Florida for a competition. You're not going to Boston for a competition. You're not going to California for a competition just to experience the weather or whatever. So if you're driving a long ways, it's for the competition. And our longest traveler this week is Waconia Power Company. They are traveling 291 miles or 4 hours and 39 minutes to attend the New London Sing Stock Festival in Wisconsin. They will face off against a field that includes De Pere, Mundelein, Milton, Tomah, Preble, Bayport, and others. So Waconia, long known as a regional power, their rival metro group Hastings going down to Linn-Mar this weekend, which we will talk about in just a second. But any miscellaneous thoughts on Waconia headed to New London?
It's kind of funny, you think of Wisconsin and Minnesota kind of being right next to each other. However, that's such a long drive, and Waconia is one of the man. I got to know their miles. I feel like they're one of the choirs that travels up near the most. I feel like Brandon also is kind of in that territory now of traveling a lot of different places through a lot of different states. And however, I feel like Waconia, in my mind, is one of those choirs that has been doing it for such a long time, traveling the way they have. Also, it's the first time in a long time they took the first week off. So we'll see how that plays into the results at New London.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. Minnesota, they're pretty up north up there. And so Waconia is headed a little bit south to get to this one. We're going to head to Iowa, though, and we're going to talk about Linn-Mar Supernova. I can already see the smile cracking on Quinn's face. Off rip for this one, Quinn. I'll toss it straight to you in the 4A division. Hastings, Riverside Company, Urbandale Studio, Sioux Falls, Washington, Classic Connection, Papillion, La Vista, Free Spirit, Prairie, The Ambassadors, Iowa City, 4th Avenue, Jazz Co., Cedar Rapids, Kennedy, Happiness, Inc., and Waukee Northwest, EOS. Who, what, where, when, why, and how?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's such a beautiful lineup. Last year I went to Supernova and it was fantastic. It was awesome. And so I'm so happy to be going back. But with last year it was more of an in-state lineup, but now this year it's still a lot of in-state groups. But also including Hastings, Sioux Falls, Washington, and then Papillion Vista. So just looking at this numbers, it does mean two of these large groups are going to miss finals. And that's the big in my mind, that's the big that's the conversation that I'm thinking of, is who's gonna occupy like fifth and sixth in this competition and who's gonna miss finals. Because for some groups, if they miss finals, it'd be the first time they miss finals in a long time. And I'm really excited to see how things turn out. The group I'm the most excited to see has got to be Urbandale Studio. I saw their preview show and I love it. It's my kind of show, and I think they could totally pull off. I think for sure Studio will take band, and I could also see them taking vocals, but it's going to be a very good competition. So I'm really excited to see how Studio does. Washington is obviously coming off of a third place podium finish at Jefferson. So hopefully they can use the knowledge they gained from that competition to help make it into finals here. Both Iowa City and Waukee Northwest won their competitions. So hopefully they'll hopefully they'll do really well here, given that fact. And yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be such a fun day. And also, Linn-Mar is a very well-run competition in my experience. Like I think last year we were actually ahead of time, like ahead of schedule.
Could it be a comp
I
with
think
good groups that runs ahead of schedule?
I know. I was really I was shocked that we weren't even behind time last time. And I was like, oh, we're done at a reasonable time. So I'm really excited to go back. It's gonna be a really fun competition.
Ethan, Quinn said a lot. Anything else you want
Mhm.
to add in edgewise there?
I mean, I just have to, repraise what he said. I mean, just fantastic competition. The fact that like two major choirs are not going to be able to make finals here to start off the season, which I mean, that's almost a good thing. Choirs, who usually don't start off their season as hot, or and they're a good choir. This extra fuel under the fire. So even if you don't make finals at this competition, it's more about overall placement of where you guys were and how that can drive you. And I'm just, throw stuff at a wall and hope it sticks. I'm going to be backing Waukee Northwest, comp under their belt, a good win. So I'm going to have them up at the GC. I'm going to have Urbandale at the 2, Hastings at the 3. I am then going to go, I'm gonna go Cedar Rapids, Kennedy, Iowa City, and then Papillion La Vista. So yeah, throw them at a wall, see what happens. What I say doesn't matter in this. I just know it's gonna be a great day of show choir, and hopefully it's on time.
I just want to point out a couple things here. First of all, I will have complete trust in the results because I look at this judging panel and it's pretty much an all-star panel. Tori Brindis, Braxton Carr, noted Portillo's lover Jeff Guimar, Dominic Matas, Aaron Nuss, Samantha Robillard, Heath Weber, and Jared Yoder is the panel. And golly, there's a collective metric ton of show choir experience among that group. The other thing is that several of the choirs that I think will probably be fighting for those last couple spots in finals are going to be performing right after one another. So Sioux Falls, Washington, 240, Papillion La Vista, 310, Prairie, 340, Iowa City High, 410. So you got kind of bang, 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 bang in terms of groups that are looking to just sneak into finals there. And again, like Ethan said, choirs that are good are going to miss finals. That happened to Cedar Rapids Jefferson and Cedar Rapids Washington at this very comp last season. So it's just a fact of life, but it's also a wonderful, wonderful early season experience for all these groups, and it makes for a great viewing experience for people like Quinn. We're going to go to our final segment of the night. Thank you guys for sticking with us. We did have some technical difficulties before we started the show, so apologies for a bit of the lateness, but our wild card competition of the week, as voted on by our Instagram followers, is Gretna Primetime, the first Nebraska weekend of the season. This is arguably the biggest lineup among them. In the mixed division, we have Council Bluffs Jefferson Edition, Elkhorn North Adrenaline, Westside Amazing Technicolor Show Choir, Lincoln East Express, Millard North Infinity, Papillion La Vista South Titanium, and Gretna East Equinox. We're going to see a new Omaha Westside when ATSC steps on stage.
Yeah. I mean, I love ATSC. It is one of my favorite groups in general in show choir. And I'll be honest, I was a little hesitant about them, but then Adam Peters did his clinician with them, and he posted like a small 10-second clip from their show, and after seeing that, I was like, oh, we're fine, we're good. For me, because I've also seen Gretna East preview show, and I just loved it. So for me, like, first place comes down to either Gretna East or West Side. And at this time, I don't know. And I'm not gonna guess. I love both of these groups, and I don't want to guess. I don't want to have to try to predict this one right now. But I'm really excited. I think it's gonna be a good matchup. And then also Papio South. Oh, another one of my favorite groups ever. So seeing them here is also just going to be so good. So I think it's going to be a really solid matchup.
Absolutely. Definitely one of those where you're like, man, there's just so much talent on stage there. Ethan, we respect Cedar Rapids Jefferson going. It's their first Metro Omaha appearance since 2024. But realistically, Council Bluffs, not Cedar Rapids Jefferson. I misspoke. Council Bluffs Jefferson. We do respect Council Bluffs Jefferson being there, but I think this one for finals is going to come down to the Nebraska contenders. I'm going to throw several groups at you, and you're going to tell me what you think of the group as a whole. Any thoughts you have? Who's going to do better than others? Elkhorn North, Lincoln East, Millard North, Papio South. I think we're looking at 6 quality groups here, so I don't think we should be concerned about who making finals and who's not, but where are these groups going to be within the finals?
I mean, like you said, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough battle. I mean, starting off to who you start with, Elkhorn North, they're a fantastic group, choreography by Matt Watson, so it's good. Just a fantastic choir that's always in the mix of it. Lincoln East, I felt like they were at such a high, maybe it was 2 years ago. I might be thinking of 3. And then last year was kind of more of a few more placements lower than where they were the year before. It's kind of going to be a battle test season. Like, can they get back up to or that prominence. Freshmen in that group are now juniors, and so it's kind of see like, hey guys, like, can we get back to what we were? Millard North, I love the Millards. They're like some of my favorite choirs around. They're so much fun to watch. Their storytelling is super cool. Going to be very interesting how they start off their season here. And then Papillion La Vista South, another just fantastic choir that has done great things throughout the test of time. And so it's gonna be a tough battle. I going back up to the top with West Side, it's the first time, without Mr. Johnson. And Mr. Johnson is off. I believe he's judging somewhere this weekend. I believe I saw that.
He's judging at Blue Valley, yes.
Yeah, judging at Blue Valley. It's first time without Mr. Johnson, so it's in a completely different competition, which would probably feel weird to him this time around. Yeah, like you said, Quinn. You see snippets here and there, and you kind of just go off of it. I feel like where they are going in the day kind of best suits them, because they go in front of like the good chunk of the rest of the field. However, Gretna East going at 4 p.m., I feel like they have a shot to impress some judging going into finals. So my predictions. Is it taking a flyer if you take a group that's won more than 3 competitions last year? I don't think so.
No.
But I'm gonna take Gretna East because the beginning of the season, anything can happen. I'm gonna take West Side at the 2. I'm gonna go. That's where it gets hard. Like we said, I'm gonna go Millard North at the 3, Lincoln East at the 4, Papillion La Vista South at the 5, Elkhorn North to rat it out.
You're insane. Gretna East 1,
No,
West Side 2. Gretna East 1, West Side 2. Give me Elkhorn North at the 3, Lincoln East at the 4, PLV South at the 5. And as much as it pains me to say this, Millard North at the 6. I like Ethan. I love the Millards. I will hopefully be seeing a show from at least one of the Millards at some point later on this season. Going to do my best to make that happen in person. But this is one of those comps where like you start like, oh, okay, like I think this group will win. I think this group will be second. And then it's kind of like you're just staring at a dartboard on the wall.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, like pick up a group, toss it at the dartboard and see like, okay, like I think they're going to be 5th. And pick up another one. Okay, that one landed on the 6. Okay, that's 3. Like one of those where it's like, look, Elkhorn North is on the come up. Lincoln East has been good. Papillion La Vista South, they expanded to a 4th choir in their program this year, so that's got to mean something, right? I think they're now the largest program in Nebraska with 4 competitive groups. I don't think anyone else is at that level right now. So that's absolutely got to mean something. And then you've got Millard North as well, who I loved their shows last year. So just one of those where you throw your hands up and say, we're going to be back here next week to talk about it and whatever it means. So I will be at the New London Sing Stock Festival this weekend. So I'll be seeing whether Waconia can close out the deal against a bunch of Wisconsin groups and Mundelein. Quinn, you are going to be at?
I'll be at Linn-Mar. I'll be traveling to Cedar Rapids on Friday. And yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a good competition.
And Ethan is going to sit back and watch it all and laugh at us when our predictions turn out to be wrong. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This has been Show Choir Nation, episode 40. I am William, and for Ethan, we will see you next week. Quinn, thank you so very much for being on tonight. We really appreciate it. Have a great weekend and break a leg if you are performing this weekend.
Absolutely.